had just come back from a seminar in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he ran across the presenter and got the book. The 17th of April passed quietly. On the 18th of April, 3 a.m. Eastern, Jim wakes up in the front lounge feeling like crap. Yesterday after church, he had a bad fight with Betsy, saying that he wouldn't sleep in bed, but in the front lounge. He cursing, he lights a cigarette. He then turns on CNN. 3 a.m. Central. Jail wakes up in his dorm room also feeling like crap, because last night he got into an argument with his mother because he broke in on the phone while she was having a conversation on the phone with Kyle. He turns on the Blake Carter Minute. Yesterday, the government of Aruba fell to more powerful forces. In many ways, I feel like we can be grateful. In other ways, tensions are rising in the White House because of Whitewater. Bill, no doubt, being angry because of what he sees as Hillary's mistakes. 6 a.m. Eastern. Jim is in his home chapel in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Great Falls area. Praying for a miracle in his marriage. He loves Betsy, but he is beginning to wonder whether the move to Washington, D.C. was changing their marriage. She was angry at him for correcting her for talking to a past love of hers named John Deadstone, Kyle's father. Far too often, that man had come in between him and Betsy, and now he was getting tired of it. 6 a.m. Central. At the Spirit Club, JR is having cinnamon rolls with Brent Clark and C.B. Coleman and Stony Rosen. You mean what? You've been talking to Brad? Brent asked. Don't be so hard on me. My family's in my hair right now, and Brad offered me solace. Guys, don't be so bitter towards Brad, CB said. It's clear to me that JR's father is on some power grab, and that's what's causing tension between him and his family. He can stay gone for all I care, JR said. Christine and I always got the short end of the stick. And Kyle's not even his biological child, but he remembers Kyle over me. Now everybody just calm down, Stone said. The point is, we think JR needs a little encouragement. There's a Bible study at Smead Hall that you can take part of Tuesday night, JR, after you're done with Cheesecake Toastmasters. I think I might just take you up on their offer. 9:05 a.m. Eastern. At his office, Jim is inspecting a press release written by intern Rachel Voice, a student from Patrick Henry College. Replace the word policy for management, Jim said. Sir, are you sure? Rachel asked. This is an independent government agency that works with small business. This is my order, Jim said. Change it. Yes, sir. After she walks out, he calls Laurel Roby, asking her out to dinner, work-related. 9 a.m. Central. In business and professional speech class, Professor Marlene Diedrich gives the following case for the skill of conflict resolution. You are Regina Gabriel, owner of DNR Liquor. Now, the conflict is one of your distributors, S.J. Scotch, recently asserted that DNR Liquor was selling to minors. You know that's not true, but you feel like the conflict does need to be resolved in order to satisfy distributors and customers and government interests that might be investigating you. JR formed his own groups for this. Brent, Stoney, CB, and Jennifer Bowers. 11:20 a.m. Eastern. As JR, while his son is in Spanish class, Jim is going through the press release one more time. He finds everything correct, signs on the copy, and asks Rachel, the intern, could you release it to the radio and newspaper news? It's to be released at TV on Wednesday while I'm in Dallas. 11 a.m. Central. Stopping off at Burger Shop across from campus, JR and his Uncle Carl sit in the car and talk and eat. Now, JR, something seems wrong when you called me on the phone, Carl said. What is it? Damn it, Uncle Carl, it just makes me so mad, JR said. My parents have more time to talk to Kyle than they do me. Well, I'll fix that. Your father is being cold and foolish, and he needs to know that there is a son going to university that he should be very proud of, and very proud of, instead of just ignoring you. No, I don't want to talk to him. Not as long as they favor Kyle. That's what they're doing. Washington? I tell you, Washington has changed him. Then I'll tell you what. Why don't you forego your regular Spirit Club breakfast and come have breakfast with me? Just hang in there and know that if your daddy and mama aren't around. Your grandmas, your Aunt Donna, and I are around because we love you. 1:20 p.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., Jim and Laurel Roby take a long lunch at the Elvin Kist Irish pub in between Washington, D.C. and Chevy Chase, Maryland. Jim tells her that he has no desire to return to his wife Betsy tonight, who is after all hosting a party tonight with Lady Radicorn. He informs her that he is staying the night with her in her penthouse. 2:25 p.m. Eastern. Jim is sitting in the U.S. House chamber listening to a speech by Congressman Dick Armey, sitting faithfully at his side, unbeknownst to his wife Betsy, is his mistress, Laurel Roby. 2 p.m. Central. JR and Jennifer are on the errand for the Center for Public Affairs at the library, researching some things for a professor, for a press release that was to be written by Dr. N.D. Pilsner. Pilsner was chairman of the Department of Communication Studies and assistant director of the Center for Public Affairs. At the same time, an hour later, in Washington, D.C., Jim and Laurel are exiting the Hill, knowing that he still has an hour and a half left to work. They return to the SBA to work on their press conference, which will take place tomorrow afternoon. 3 p.m. Central. At the Center for Public Affairs, Jared is working on yet another press release when Brad walks in. Yo, come in. Yo, JR, you sound a little sad on the phone. What's up? Brad's tearing me apart, okay? I'm even reconsidering this internship. Just stay home at the ranch with Grandma, Jared said. Now, JR, Brad said, 4.5 months. You have done nothing but to talk about how you look forward to this internship with your dad, with your father. I'm not sure I even admire my father anymore. Yesterday when I tried to call, he and my mother were fighting because Mama preferred to talk to Kyle instead of me. Okay, I get your point. I can't stand your brother either, JR. Reckless, rash, and careless. Those things that I saw in you, meaning what they had is, what it has is nothing compared to how your brother is. 6 p.m. Eastern. Back at the same restaurant, when Jim and Laurel are just begun to sit down to dinner, Jim's cell phone rings. It's his brother, Carl. Carl! I was thinking of the hitting your neck of the woods in May, Jim said. You stupid, Carl said. How can you ignore your own firstborn son? Your own flesh and blood, who's off in college, working and slaving, and doing what